That's right. All right, let's move on to the next player. I wanted to hit this with you guys real quick. This is the one I was most excited about. I think we can do this in 15 minutes, right? Quay Walker.
Do anything.
I wish Tim was here because I know Tim has been the biggest Quay fan, I think, of all of us. Do y'all feel comfortable saying that, like, Tim likes Quay more than any of us do? Not that any of us don't like him. We'll get your all's take on that. But I feel like Tim has kind of been in Quay's corner the entire time. And I wanted to see if that had changed at all or if he still felt the same. And he's not the only one, by the way.
No, I would be right behind Tim. I love Quay, man. I think that speed is killer. I think we need that on the defense. But
okay. So we're going to look at his market value. And I want to ask the chat. I want everybody to let us know in the chat. And same with the super chats. If any come in, we'll hit them at the end here. We greatly appreciate everybody. I want to know, do you guys want to bring him back? He's set to hit free agency, right? So here are the numbers. Here is how he grades out. His defensive grade this year, 46.0 according to PFF. That was the 77th best linebacker. For those of you wonders, only 32 teams in the league. We're typically playing 2 stack backers in our nickel 4-2-5. Therefore, top 64 would equal starting caliber according to PFF standards. Okay, 46.0, not going to get it done. Run defense grade, 54.4. Pass rush grade, 61.0. I don't put as much stock in the pass rush because he's a stack backer. Those guys, you look at any stack backer across the league, their pressure percentage is through the roof because that's what it's designed to do is you bring a +1 and hit home with the quarterback, right? You're going to get pressure on the quarterback more times than not in that case. Coverage grade, 40.9. So with that being said, over the course of his career being in Green Bay, here are his career PFF grades: 52, 58, 57, and this year it drops to 46. According to PFF, he just had his worst year since being in Green Bay. All right. Market value, $9.7 million. Not going to bore you with all the details here. However, 4 players are Logan Wilson, Zaven Collins, Robert Spillane, and Uter Gross Matos, if I'm saying that right.
Money.
Yeah, hopefully I got it right. Somebody said, you say uterus? No, I said uter. So anyway, those are the 4 comp players. Their averages come out to 3 years, $25.2 million or $9 million average annual value at 26.8 years old. So the base calculated value essentially is going to be $9.9 million. All right. Statistical comparisons with those 4 players. Here's the percentage change. We'll just jump right to the percentage change of Quay. Hopefully you guys get an idea of how everything goes here. Gameplay percentage, snap percentage, tackles, sacks, stops, catch rate, quarterback hurries, and rating. Okay. The percentage change for gameplay percentage for Quay, -13.5. Snaps percentage, -4.1. Tackles per game, positive 36.26. That's what he does well, right? He's always got a ton of tackles, right? Now, the fact that he's got so many tackles and not as many stops, that bothers me. But it looks like compared to these other guys, pretty good numbers. Sacks per game, a +11. Stops per game, +24. Catch rate, right, on the year, -6.31. And then quarterback hurries per game, -27.27. So essentially what you've got is a median prime change of -5% with a average prime percentage change of a +0.31. That's how you come up with 3 years, $29 million, 9.6 average salary. Based off of that, we looked at the PFF grades. We're going to hit the NFL Pro data in a second to see if it confirms, okay? But based off what we've seen up to this point, would you be willing to pay Quay Walker $9.7 million? 3-year deal, $9.7 million. Forget the guaranteed money. We'll work that detail out later. Keep it very simple here, Emilio. Would you be willing to pay Quay Walker 3 years at $9.7 million per year?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, Emilio said yes. All right.
Really?
All right.
Okay.
That's it, Jacob.
Just let me quick highlight what the chat quick said. Coach, 50-50 on Quay. Not so cool. Let him go. Jen, Quay, I don't know. Stephanie says, I used to like Quay. I'm not sure now. Not so cool. Again, first rounder, PFF grades no good. We've talked about that. Coach Len saying that he'd like to have him back, but move him to a different linebacker position. I think that's a little more interesting conversation. Stephanie says, pay him just somewhere else. I am unfortunately probably going against Emilio. I just feel like that what we have right now, forgive the pun, but in the hopper with a guy like Mr. See what I did, you guys? I'm awesome. But no, with honestly, with the way that McDuffie has played, with what we know we have out of Coop, what we have in the back round with Hopper, even maybe a couple guys like Clayton said earlier in his podcast, Maybe you got to bring in a couple of young guys. Maybe you bring in a veteran. If there's a Bobby Wagner type-esque player out there in the offseason, you kind of just bolster that room. That's pretty much where I'm at as far as being a first-round talent that I just don't feel like is quite – the thing to me is that he can do most of the stuff we ask for a linebacker to do. It just seems like that in the situations, whether it's him covering nothing in the zone coverage, right, or whether it's him just coming up and actually making a key play in key situations. I kind of like what Coach said. If we could maybe utilize him in a different aspect, whether he's a better Sam, we talked about that kind of, right? Whether he's maybe just not the green dot guy, he's maybe just not the Mike, maybe he's a Sam, maybe he's a Will, maybe we have a little more, tweaking to do with what he can do in the NFL. The thing is I don't want to come in and get a project that's a first round draft pick and we're going to still pay him $10 million a year because we don't really understand what he does well and what he doesn't. I like what you got. To be kidding me. Number one says Quay has no instincts. And I hate that because that seems very aggressive and accusatory, but I kind of feel like
I agree. I mean, I don't want to say no instinct, but I agree that like to me, his superpower is being able to cover vertically down the seam. He does that. Like there's not many stack backers that can do what he does. He's an athletic freak, but the hesitation he has in the underneath game. I mean, I can't remember what quarterback it was a few weeks ago that scrambled to the left and picked up the first down. And it was like Quay was there. He was squared up and he went to run him down. And he didn't run him down. I'm like, that's what he's supposed to be able to do, right? He's supposed to be that athletic freak to run the quarterback down. So that's where I was a little bit. I'm not saying I don't want Quay back, but for the right price, to me, 9.7, that's a little too high for me.
Did you happen to? So there's a lot of people in the chat. I didn't highlight them just because I wasn't sure if it was true. But
shout out to Fishy Things being a member for 5 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Jacob. You can hit them.
Thank you, Fishy Things. No, I don't want to highlight them because I don't know if it's true and I don't want to put people on blast or whatever. But they were saying that he did a pretty kind of weird post-conference interview where he kind of it seemingly felt like he was throwing people under the bus. Is that accurate in y'all's eyes? And I haven't heard it. So again, I didn't want to just put it up on screen. Like
I'm kind of paraphrasing, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but essentially what he said was this has been a problem long before I got here. Essentially with the collapses Quay did. So yeah, this has been a problem even before I got here, is what he said, talking about the late collapses and stuff. Is it true? I mean, hell, I guess. I don't know, but that to me, and I have no inside information, but that to me sounds like a guy who's leaving and he's just kind of going, about flip the bird. He's going, take that with you with the ring finger. That's a ring finger. Okay. Take that with you. I'm out of here. That's what it felt like. So I don't know. Does everybody agree with that? He was deflecting responsibility. Yeah, that's kind of exactly. It felt like that. Somebody said correct, Clay. So
I'll have to go listen to it. But
it was interesting, Amelia.
I don't know. I mean, I'd still feel like I would pay him. Looking at at least 80% of the minimum snaps played. Edgerrin was 7th overall out of a rank of 27 of them, right? Quay was 24th. These are like out of all the linebackers in the league. The only other one that we would know about, Eric Wilson, was 17th. I think that Quay can be Eric Wilson or more, right? We were super happy when Eric Wilson came in and played that. That's not bad, but I like where Jacob and Coach were saying maybe you move Quay to Sam most of those times. You bring in Hopper when we go 3 wide, move Quay down to Sam, and then bring him back up and just let him be once. I feel like if he had one side of the field that he needed to cover and worry about sort of thing, or one sort of objective on that, I would feel a little bit more comfortable. But
I was going to highlight it, but I thought I'm going to get in trouble.
I don't even know what it means. I probably shouldn't put it up there either.
I was just going to. So
I got
Emilio,
if you guys want me to read it, I got the exact quote.
While you're doing that, Emilio, could you look up what Eric Wilson's PFF grade was when he went to B-Flow this year again? Because a lot of people in the chat were talking about that as well.
This year, his grade was a 62.1. Last year at Green Bay, his grade was a 64.3.
Okay. And Quay was a 40.
And to be honest, I think that our issue with Quay and Coop in general dropping this year was our D line. I think that the issue is they're climbing to the second level. Everybody's already 3 yards up the field. We got not that you saw a little bit more of Quay when Devontae Wyatt was out there, and you get a little bit more pull. But they're getting way too much to the second level. Our interior D line, I need a little bit more from the general, maybe a little bit more beef. I don't know what it is, but I think that plays a part too.
Got it. So here is the exact quote from Quay Walker, and this was Ryan Wood tweeted this out. Okay, quote: "As bad as I want to stand right here and say we should have won that game, we didn't execute. That's been a problem for us. Honestly, just finishing games. Even before I got here, I feel like that's always been a part of this organization. When it comes down to big games, finishing games, whether you start strong in the first half, it comes down to how you finish, or it comes down to can you finish? Nobody cares what you did in the first half. It comes down to when the fourth quarter hits double zeros, whatever the case may be, do we have more points than them? That hasn't been the case at all." So again, the highlight there is even before I got here, I feel like that's always been a part of this organization when it comes down to big games.
I'm not mad at that. I'll be honest. I mean, everybody has complained since 2010 on that we've fallen apart. There was a special teams blunder. There was an offensive blunder, a defensive blunder. It doesn't matter what happened, who happened. I mean, he came from Georgia where Kirby was cooking and just, going down the line, right? It was knock them out, win 13 games, keep moving, keep your head down. You got a big game, play it, get through the game, end the game with the winning, with more points on the scoreboard than them and keep moving. So I'm really not mad at maybe it just didn't sound right, but I'm not mad at the statement he made there.
I think that's a fair point, Emilio. To Coach's point, he says he's being truthful. He's not a secret. We've had issues in the big games. To me, though, that's one of those situations. I actually had it happen today. If a woman, if your wife, if your girlfriend, if your mom says, "Do I look fat in this dress?" you do not answer anything other than either no answer or you do not say yes, okay? And if you do, I feel like that you are willingly putting yourself out there to get yourself.
Don't say anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, Quay was just maybe talking a little emotionally and that kind of thing, but to say it that way, and maybe it's just a slip of the tongue and he didn't really quite mean it that way, but to me it was like, yo, what are you doing right now?
This is how I feel. Tell me the play that Quay made that was the difference maker in that game against Chicago. Tell me where Quay made a play that justifies him saying that comment against Chicago.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fair.
Right now, forget Chicago. Go the week before. Go the week before that. The entire 2025 season, tell me the play that Quay Walker made that justifies him saying a comment like that.
Right.
Xavier McKinney says it. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Hell, this is going to make people mad. Rashawn Gary says it. He's done it in the past. When has Quay made a play where you're like, that's the game-saving play? That's the big-time play. When has he done it? I can't think of one. He's made plays here and there, don't get me wrong, right? And he's a physical freak. Like Coach Lynn says, he's dropped a bunch of picks. Like, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just weird. I'm old school, I guess. I don't even know if it's old school. I don't want to compliment myself. That sounds like a compliment. That sounded very, very arrogant. I don't want players on my team that go, "Yeah, it's been a problem since I got here or before I got here," and you ain't made the play that's made the difference.
That's fair.
Jordan, the tight window throws while getting smacked in the damn mouth, right? Christian Watson, I don't care that he fumbled. That dude got to the 6-yard line and said, "The hell with my body and my health. I'm going to get a touchdown," and he jumped over everybody, right? I don't know, man. And then if he wants to say something, I'm going to shut up and listen because he put it out there. I just haven't seen it, man. I hate to be like that, but yeah. So with that being said, 9.7 million is the number. Now, we cover PFF says he's horrible, right? And usually we look at this and we go, okay, it's not as bad as it looked, right? According to PFF. Let's go look at the NFL Pro data in case we missed something. Stops. You guys know what a stop is. It's when a player makes a tackle that results in a negative play for the defense, not necessarily negative yards, but a negative play in terms of EPA, right? Quay Walker finished 33rd in the league with 54 stops at his position, okay? That would suggest the best number 2 sack backer in a nickel defense in the league is what that's saying, right? Out of 32 teams, he was 33rd best in stops. Not a horrible number. At $9 million per, I don't know, right? All right. Passer rating when targeted. Brace yourself. 86th amongst stack backers for passer rating when targeted. I mean, you're getting into horrible territory there, right? Quay Walker, 105.6 was the passer rating when targeted allowed. Okay. Quarterback pressure percentage. He can rush the quarterback pretty good, right? When you look at stack backers, and really they throw a lot of hybrid backers in here too. So this might be a little bit fair. It's not just stack backers, but he finished 56th at 15.8% pressure rate. Okay. Which explains why his pass rush grade looked a little lower in terms of PFF, right? Linebacker room. When you look at our linebacker room, according to PFF, well, again, those three stats, just hit them one more time: 33rd, 86th, 56th. Okay, that's where he's at. To me, that screams number 2 to number 3 linebacker on the team. Are we willing to pay $9 million for that caliber of a player? Right. I always try to look at this stuff too. Like if you remove the player's name and just looked at the results, the PFF grade, the stats. And also, if you could remove their jersey number and their name off nameplate and you just watch the tape, would you go, need that guy for $9 million? Me personally, I'm not there. I'm not. $5 million, you could sell me on that. I'd be like, okay, yeah, he knows the system. He's been here a while. I want to say he's a team player. That comment ticks me off. So I can't go, oh man, he's all about. I don't know, man. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And I think I'm the only one too, because everybody in the chat, it seemed, I don't want to say everybody, but the majority in the chat didn't have a problem with that comment, right? I kind of did.
I'm with you, Clay. That really,
okay. So you and I are the two sensitive Susans in here tonight, right? So anybody watching his name Susan, that was not a shot, okay? No. So Chris says it pissed him off. Chris, everything pisses you off, so you're in the same that work. So let's see here. So when you look at the linebacker room, again, PFF-wise, Edgerrin Cooper, 75.8. Guys, that is your stack backer. That's your dude in the middle, right? That's your difference maker. That defense fell apart when he left that Chicago game with the injury. And it sounds like he's going to be good to go next year. It doesn't sound like that's anything major, right? So we should be good. Should be no long-lasting effects here. Christian Welch, 66.1. Only 2 snaps, throw it out the window. Isaiah McDuffie, 65.5 on 551 snaps. I feel like the defense was significantly better when Isaiah McDuffie was in and Quay was out. When Quay was out with the injury, I felt like I wasn't going, man, we're really missing Quay tonight. I just didn't feel like that. Jamin Johnson, only 67 snaps, but a 54.2. He's a rookie, by the way. Nick Nyman, only 1 snap. Quay Walker, 978 snaps, 46.0. When you look at the linebacker room in terms of salary cap, Isaiah McDuffie next year, $4.9 million against the cap. Edgerrin Cooper, $2.3 million against the cap. Tyron Hopper, $1.5 million against the cap. Jamin Johnson doesn't count toward the cap right now. If you want him back, you can have him back, I think, on the futures or what have you. So with all that being said, are you willing to bring Quay back in for a $9 million cap hit, right? Essentially, it's just, maybe it's 7, whatever. He would be the highest paid linebacker in the room. Would you be willing to do that to put Isaiah McDuffie on the bench? In my opinion, Isaiah McDuffie outperformed him this year. No matter what stats you look at on a per snap basis, it feels like McDuffie played better football. I'm just not willing to do it. At $5 million, like I said, you could sell me on that. I think the best thing to do here is let him walk in free agency. It'll help you get a comp pick next year and go draft 1 or 2 more linebackers or go find a couple of young players to put through the system. Emilio, how do you feel about all that, man? Do you still want him back at $9 million? And I'm not trying – that's why I try to get your all's opinion first. I don't want to sway you in any way. That's just how I feel about it. And I feel like you're okay with $9 million. I understand that. I respect it. I'm not saying it's a horrible idea, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
Emilio, just real quick. How about this? All right.
Don't you say the name. Don't you say the name.
You let homie walk, and then you find yourself a diamond in the rough, another Sean Dolak. Okay. How about that? How about that's how we go about this?
I would love it. Well, Jacob, hear me out. Red Murdoch coming out of UB in a year or two, dude is going to be nasty. All right. He's elite on college football. Okay, Jacob.
His name's
so
Red Murdoch?
Yeah, Red Murdoch.
No,
he's nasty. Anyway, my point on Quay, yes, I would still pay him 9. Isaiah's getting 5. He's our special teams captain. If you gave 300 more pass coverage snaps to Isaiah McDuffie this year, his grade is not a 65.5. I almost guarantee it. You know what I mean? Nothing against McDuffie. He's not turning his hips like Quay. He's not getting downfield like it's just not. That's not his stat. I would still pay Quay that. And maybe like we talked about with Coach, maybe you lean into, all right, Quay, you're going to be playing like 200 snaps on the line this year too. You know, if you're worried about your edge rushers or whatever, rotate him down, walk him up to the line, and let him. First year in the league, he had a 70.3 pass rush grade. And in the games where he had a good pass rush, he graded out. I mean, his tackling was good. He had a 91 pass rush against Arizona. He had a 71 against Baltimore. He didn't grade out great, but when you asked him to do those pass rush stats, yeah. But I'm not mad at $9 million for Quay to keep that defense kind of together. Carry him for 2 years, get ready to pay Coop. All right, when Coop's ready to be paid, Quay can bounce, and then we move on.
There you go. And you know what? To kind of defend you a little bit here too, Emilio, we say $9 million. If you sign him to a 3-year, $27 million contract, that first year probably cap it's going to be like $6 million, right? So It's going to be
be ready to be out in 2 years or whatever. Get through one, and maybe be out at the end of one, or maybe you're out of two.
Yeah, and this is a great point. Coach Lynn, B-Flow would figure out something for Quay to do for sure.
With Micah, and Coop, B-Flow would be like, all right, what are we doing back here?
Yeah, I really want B-Flow the more I think about it.
That would be,
yeah. So the reason we mentioned Sean Dolak, I want to give you guys a little behind baseball here. The other day, this column right here is brand new. If you guys are wondering what this is our draft board from last year, okay? Don't make fun of me because I only got 84% storage left there used at the top, okay? So, or 84% used, I should say.
We'll start deleting stuff.
Yes, we will, but we really won't. So what we added was the PFF grades from this year. So all of the rookies that are on our draft board last year, we got all the different columns. You could sort them by their grades still, but now you can actually look at their PFF grade. I went through and put every one of these PFF grades in the other day. It was a ton of grades, right? And at the end, I was so excited, I hit sort. Now, if you see the red box over here, that simply means they had less than 100 snaps. So it's, hey, this is their grade, but check the snap count. They didn't play a whole lot. It may be 85 snaps. It might have been 3. That's what that's saying. So I sorted it like, all right, let's see who the best rookies were. You guys watched our draft coverage last year throughout the year. All we heard about was Sean Dolak, and look who's number 2 on the list. Sean Dolak finished with an 88.5.
That's crazy.
Minimal snaps, but an 88.5. I seen that, and I immediately text the guys and said some bad words. I'm like, I'm so tired of hearing about Sean Dolak.
I'm just horns up, baby.
Horns up, he says.
Horns up. Do you want to know PFF with Sean Dolak? 4 games played, 43 snaps, 20 runs, 4 pass rushes, 19 coverage, 88.5, 88.2 run defense, 80 tackling, 64 pass rush, 68.4 coverage.
There you go. You heard it from the fan right here. So, did he ever have a card on college football?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I saved him. I save all the bold ones, even though they're like 80 overalls. You know what I mean? On Ultimate Team, I'll keep them at the bottom of the folder. But yeah, I think there's a tackle coming out too potentially this year. We'll see if he's returning or not.
So, if you guys are wondering who the highest graded rookies were last year according to PFF, remove the minimal snaps. Okay, like let's don't include those guys. Cam Scatterbo, running back, 80.5. Okay. Next, Tet McMillan, 79.3. Do you guys remember leading up the draft? It's like everybody loved Tet McMillan. They loved him. Mm-hmm. And then like 3 weeks before the draft, all of a sudden he don't like football. He don't like studying. We're like, boy, somebody trying to get him to drop. He was a dog this year, 79.3. Next on the list, as bad as it hurts me to say it, Luther Burden. That was our 3rd best receiver. He was just above Matthew Golden on our draft board. Luther Burden, 77.9. Omarion Hampton outplaying, who was the running back? Ashton Gianti. He outplayed Ashton Gianti according to PFF. Omarion Hampton, 77.3 out of North Carolina. Jahad Campbell, 76.2. We know that one, obviously. Wyatt Malum ended up being the best offensive lineman.
Love that guy. Me and Tim, I think, really love that guy.
And here's what's crazy. You guys see the Senior Bowl icon there, right? People, it's snuck up on us. The end of this month, in roughly 2 weeks, we're going to be doing live coverage of the East-West Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl. It's already here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then next month, guess what happens? The Combine, right? And then you got free agency opening up.
Man, that is crazy.
Right. It's wild.
Let's go, boy. Yeah, hey, you know what? There's another one. Noah Williams. I know Tim was kind of touting the horn for him, and that's crazy.
I'll give you another one too. Remember a couple weeks before the draft, we got on here and said Greg Cosell said Tyler Shuck is like He watched the tape. Tyler Shuck was his favorite quarterback, essentially. And he said that other front office executives reached out to him and said, "You're on it. You're on it. We agree," right? Remember us having that conversation? Tyler Shuck ended up being the highest graded rookie quarterback this year at 74.6 in New Orleans with garbage around him down there.
Yeah.
So, again, when you look at the players we're talking about, look at all the Greg Cosell bonuses. He loved Cam Scatterbo. He loved Tet McMillan. He loved Luther Burden. He loved Omarion Hampton. He loved Jahad Campbell. He loved Abdul Carter. He loved Tyler Shuck, Noel Williams. All these guys got the Greg Cosell bonus. Remember, my favorite defensive lineman wanting a 3-tech was Walter Nolan. He got hurt, played a little over 100 snaps, less than 200 snaps for sure. Greg Cosell was like, this dude is one of, if not the best players in the draft. That's why we gave him a 7-point bonus from Greg Cosell, because he spoke about him like nobody else. 74.1 was his PFF grade. So that's the type of 3-tech I'm looking for this year, if we could find one.
Well, and look at all the final numbers too, Clay. How many of them are actually low numbers? Final number on that column there being lower number wins. Just love that. The only ones that are sky high are the red minimum snap ones. Besides that, it's like, dude, we were narrowing it down.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And again, we're going to do that again this year. If you just sort that column here. So now this is what our draft board actually looked like. Gianti, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Tet McMillan, Will Campbell. You see them in that order now, right? And then, of course, when you look at the PFF grades, so that disappears when you show that grade. Is that right?
They're right there. There's just nobody that had minimums.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I see it now. My bad. So, yeah, that's sorted by the board, and now you see like 70, 74, 62, 68, 79, 74. It looks like the worst one is Cam Ward, and God love his heart down there in Tennessee. What do you expect it to do, right? 58.5. Right. We always say if you score 60 or higher, it's a good sign that you're going to be a good player. James Pierce, 57.8, but he finished, I think, as Rookie of the Month, if I remember correctly. So he finished strong at the end of the year. Look for him to potentially flash next year. Kenneth Grant was probably the biggest bust we had, 48.4, right?
Yeah.
And one of the top players on our board. So for the most part, though, they shook out pretty darn good. So anyway, that's just a little glimpse at the draft board. We're going to do that again this year. We've already got it started. If you guys are in the Patreon group, you've already got access to it. The PFF grades for 23 and 24 are already in. As soon as the national championship wraps up, we'll give it 48 hours. We'll put the 25 PFF grades in, and then we're off and running, building the board out. And you guys will have every update. Every time we make an update, you can find it over at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. So you guys got anything else? We went way over. I apologize.
No, man.
I just seeing that spreadsheet, and I've actually got the last 2 years printed out from FedEx Express. There you go. Emilio's got his right there. Mine was, I can't read as well as you, my eyes when you get older, Emilio, you got to kind of squint a little bit. So mine's like quite a bit longer. I had to roll that sucker up. But guys, just like, it sucks to have to lose the way we lost, right? That was a terrible end of the season. I don't think anybody would argue otherwise, but we are about to, if you can just stick with this channel, Clayton and Emilio and Tim, they dived so hard into this off season. You guys have no idea. It's made me enjoy football so much more, and they get so much more into college football. Cause honestly, I wasn't a big college football guy, but during this time of year, I just absolutely love it. It's so fun to see where these guys start ranking. And to the point of a lot of the people in the comments that for the years as a joke, time for mock draft. Guess what? We're at that point now. We're going to start cranking out them mock drafts. And there's nothing better than this time of year of having hope and optimism, because every 32 team in this NFL, you have that. It's hope season, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. We're hope dealers, not dope dealers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean.
All right. Emilio, anything else you want to?
No comments after that one, actually. I'm going to pass on that.
All right. And we are up to 7,930 subs. So we're almost to the 8,000 mark. We picked up over 760 subs last month. And the watch time is through the roof. You guys are crushing it with the comments. It's helping the algorithm. It looks like over the last 28 days, there has been 30,000, almost 31,000 hours of watch time on the channel. So appreciate everybody helping us get to where the channel is. Y'all are all a huge, huge part of it. So thank y'all so much for the support. We're going to get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm probably going to live first thing in the morning in case any news breaks. If not, we'll talk about Rob Domofsky, what he said tonight. I'll try to cipher through and get some more information and get you guys some more updates tomorrow. Hopefully a deal will be done with Matt LaFleur soon, or they decide to move on soon so we can start to get this whole coaching staff kind of shook out here. So appreciate everybody jumping in. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you, Jacob. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.